Jack was a big boy. He played full forward on the footy team. He liked hanging out with his mates, riding his bike, eating fish, and playing drums. It was a big secret, but he also liked girls. He didn't tell anyone, especially his mates, because girls were strange. The girls he knew didn't play footy. They wore different clothes, looked different, talked different, smelt different, were different. But Jack still liked them. Sometimes, when he saw a girl, his spirit would dance and his skin would shiver. Unfortunately, Jack had two people inside him. There was Jack Spirit, who danced when he saw a girl, and there was Jack Mouth, who spoke when he saw a girl. There was a big difference between the two.
I like Rachel's hair, the way it curls and bounces as she walks. She's pretty and funny.
Want to go behind the bike sheds?
When Trish walks, her dress swirls like long grass in the wind. Her walk is as beautiful as she's smart.
Shake it, baby, shake it.
I like Helen's eyes. They're bright and sparkle like the sun on water. Helen has beautiful eyes. She's such a kind person.
Show us your booty.
As much as Jack hoped girls would like him, they didn't. Instead, they thought he was a nasty creep because of how he spoke to them.
Jack is a rude pig. He grunts like an animal. Jack's creepy.
Girls tried to avoid Jack because of the rude things he said. When they couldn't avoid him, they ignored him. Sometimes Jack noticed this. He was confused. His spirit danced when he saw the girls, but then his mouth opened and the girls would go away. He didn't want this to happen. He wanted to be noticed. He wanted the girls to like him. Or he thought he was being funny. Jack wanted to understand what was wrong. Jack tried to talk to his Nan about it.
Nan, when I talk to girls, they don't like me.
What do you say to them?
Jack knew he couldn't say the rude or insulting things he said to the girls to his Nan without her getting angry. So he lied.
Nothing bad, just stuff like hello and how are you, but they won't answer back.
Jack's Nan knew he wasn't telling the truth. She also knew she couldn't help him unless he was honest. She suggested Jack go for a ride and think about it. Jack went for a long ride out to the edge of town. He liked riding. It cleared his head. He rode for a long time and found himself in a place he'd never been before. Up the road, he saw a girl walking towards him. As he pedaled closer, he could see she was beautiful, and his spirit began to dance. Her dress moved like leaves in the wind, and her skin glowed like honey. Her eyes looked right into him, and she smiled with a beautiful smile.
She's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen.
Jack's spirit began to dance, but then his mouth started talking.
What a class piece of booty.
Suddenly, the girl's hair and dress turned into smoke and blew away. Her body became 1,000 bees. Her eyes fell like raindrops to the ground. Her smile turned into a white bird which flew straight at Jack's head. The bird landed in a tree and sat looking at Jack.
Jack, why are you such a tool?
What do you mean?
It's good that your spirit dances when you see something beautiful, but your mouth is like a broken toilet.
What you say is true.
I can't help it.
You must learn.
Okay, teach me.
What can a stupid bird teach me?
The bird swooped and picked up Jack's bike.
Walk home like a girl.
And with that, the bird flew away, taking Jack's bike. Now Jack had to walk all the way home. It would be dark when he got there. Nan would be worried. Shaken and confused, Jack started walking. What did the bird mean? Walk home like a girl. And who was the bird anyway? He was hoping for a lift home. He saw a car of a friend's older brother. He shouted and waved. The car stopped. Some much older boys looked at him.
Yeah, shake it, baby, shake it. Show us the booty.
The driver leant out of his window. He looked hungry and stared at Jack's legs like they were food.
Yeah, I'll give you a lift. Come on, get in.
All the boys stared at Jack like they were hungry dogs. Jack felt creeped out.
No thanks. I think I'll walk.
Yeah, stupid tart. You don't know what you're missing, chick.
The boys were slow to get back into the car and stared at Jack while they did. Finally, they drove off. Jack was worried the car would come back. What did they mean? Chick. He'd only ever used that word when he talked to girls. Jack ran across the road and looked at his reflection. What Jack saw horrified him. Somehow, he'd become a girl.
I'm a girl?
How did this happen?
You insulted that bird!
I have to get home, quick!
Jack decided to run the back way home, past the river and across the oval. If he was lucky, no one would see him. As he ran, he became smaller and lighter. He couldn't run as fast. When he got to the river, it was hard to climb up the bank. He didn't like this. The football team was practicing at the oval. Instead of cutting across, Jack walked around the far edge, hoping no one would notice him. But the boys noticed Jack straight away. They all stopped to watch him stumble over the oval fence. A few began whistling and making noises. It was the most stupid, embarrassing thing Jack had ever experienced.
What are you whistling at, fool?
The sight of an annoyed girl stomping around the edge of the oval made the boys laugh. They whistled louder. Jack got more angry.
What a bunch of jerks.
This only made the boys laugh and stopped practice completely. They stood in a group watching Jack try to escape through the bushes. Some of the boys moved into the car park to whistle more. Jack emerged into the street just as Rachel, Trish and Jessie were walking by. They saw Jack being whistled at and felt sorry for him.
Why are boys such jerks?
You can join us if you want.
Jerks?
The girls laughed at Jack.
They're always like that.
What do you mean?
Every day it's the same. It's like they've never seen a girl before. Some of them seem nice, but when they open their mouths, they can only grunt.
Worse, if you talk to them, they immediately want to be your girlfriend.
As if. Where do you live? We'll walk you there.
Jack was surprised to be walking home with girls. This was as close as he'd ever been to Rachel, Trish and Jessie. They asked who he was. He said Jack's cousin. They were kind, and at last he felt safe walking through town. They complained a lot about the weird things boys did, but now Jack could see what they meant. Finally, they started talking about normal stuff that Jack was into.
I play guitar, and guess what? I love Last Connections music. I love that one. Oh, and I love fishing. I go all the time with my cousins.
Huh? I go all the time with my dad. I love it.
My uncle plays for Port Power. I'm a mad fan.
So am I.
Rachel, Trish, Jessie and Jack walked all through town, right to the end of Jack Street. They talked all the way, and Jack didn't say anything stupid, rude or insulting. Amazing.
Yeah, that's a good song. I love that one, but I still prefer the one fishing. I go all the time.
The girls were fun, and he liked how gentle they were. Jack thanked them for helping him home, and they all said goodbye.
Bye. See ya. Bye.
The girls left, and Jack turned towards home. He could see the light on in his house. Nan was going to be mad with him, but what would she say when she saw he was a girl? At the front of his house, he saw the white bird and his bike. She looked at him with bright eyes, full of curiosity.
How was the walk?
Awful.
Hard.
What did you learn?
And, for the first time ever, Jack answered with one voice.
Boys can be jerks and girls are people the same as me.
Good enough.
And as the bird flew off, Jack turned back into a boy.